Okay, welcome to video number 2 of our little primer testing series we got going on here for 223. You saw video 1, right? It was just posted like yesterday. We'll do a very quick overview. We've got 7 different primers that we're testing just to see if anyone jumps out as being superior to the others. Problem is, you've seen yesterday's video, but I haven't even shot that ammo yet. So there could have been huge revelations yesterday and I'm still in the dark. We'll try to make do. The only thing that's changing for today is the bullet. So today's bullet is going to be the 69 grain Sierra Match King. This is my favorite bullet. Shoots outstanding groups. It shoots really good groups. Our first test with this gun and this bullet averaged around 3/4 inch groups. So what I wanted to do was pick out an extruded powder and a ball powder that we had already shot. So ball powder, CFE 223 down here at the bottom is our best candidate. And its best group was a .724 there at 23 or 25.0 grains. So that's what we're going to shoot. First powder today, CFE 223. We're going to shoot it at 25.0 grains. 8208 XBR shot. Actually, I think it's the best group I've shot with this gun up to this point. This 502 here at 23.0 grains. So that's what we're going to shoot with it. 23.0 grains of 8208 XBR. So I'm expecting some freaking sweet groups today. So I gotta be on my game. Just like the last video, we've got our Federal 223 brass that's all primed and completely ready to go. So at this point, I just need powder and bullets, seat the bullets. Dies are already in the press from yesterday. Everything's done. Since we're going to need a bunch of time, hopefully, to talk over all of the results from these 2 videos, let's just skip it all. I'll reload these and yeah, I'll just see you guys on the range. So if you'll think back to the first video, the part 1 video, our last shot, it made a very weird noise and the round hit 12 inches above where it was supposed to. I have not fired this gun since then. So this first test here might get a little bit explodey. That whole % chance of blowing your face off, right now it's growing. Also, I've had several ideas about how to shoot these rounds with the 69 grain Match King. Last video, I just started with S&B, worked my way over to the 450, and then just kept on going. This one, I am going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the 450 and work my way toward the S&B. Hopefully, I don't get myself confused. Another thought, I mean, it was suggested as well. I was doing this like round robin. Shoot 1 shot at each target and then start over. Shoot the second shot at all the targets. That would be a much better idea for spreading out the heat. The thing is, we got ourselves a daily reloading show going here. We can test that. We can test all the ideas we come up with. We can make this a 400-part video series. So I'm going to save that for later. This one here, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it group by group. Now, our best target so far with this gun came with the Sierra Match Kings. I'm expecting to shoot some freaking outstanding groups today. That's my goal, is to shoot our best group ever with this barrel here today on this target. So I'm going to be taking my time, every shot counts, all of that crap. Having said that, I'm not going to leave the barrel a lot of time to cool down. So the last video, we suspect that barrel heat might have been a major factor. So I want to make sure that we push this guy hard today, get it nice and warm. Last video, we made it 3 or 4 groups before it started. So we'll just see how it acts today. So let's shut the heck up and get to shooting. We're starting out with the CCI number 450, far right dot. One more very quick thing. I did clean this gun. That weird noise freaked me out. I wanted to inspect things closely, so I did clean the gun thoroughly. So we're starting with a totally clean barrel. Okay, that one seemed normal, both in sound and point of impact. So I guess we'll just act like that problem in the last video never happened. Okay, next up is going to be the CCI number 41. I didn't even mention, this is an 18-inch white oak armament barrel. Be full details about the gun and stuff down in the description. All right, so that group was a little bit better. Standard deviation numbers still look like garbage. But we're moving on. Next up is the CCI BR4. Okay, number 400. Okay, Winchester's next. It is very interesting to watch these velocities climb. Okay, next up, the Federal AR match. These velocity numbers are fascinating. Last up is the S&B. All right, so it seems like maybe we're starting to drop some shots low. You know, we're starting to string shots low like we were in our last video with this gun as the barrel got hot. It is smoking hot. So, you know, a minute ago, whenever that camera went blank for a minute, I ran into the 30-minute time. I can only record for 30 minutes at a time with that camera. So when that went off, it had been 30 minutes. All of the gabbing and all of the stuff at the beginning of the video included. So I shot these 35 shots in probably 25 minutes, which is maybe a touch faster than the last video. So I want to do, just like the last video, I want to go ahead and shoot one more group here. It's our first group with 8208 XBR. Now, this powder shot much better than CFE 223 in our earlier testing. So this is where I'm hoping to shoot some super small groups. So let's go ahead and try out this 450. Okay, so our first group there is not too bad. I want to go ahead and push the gun. I want to keep shooting. I am going to take a little break. My eyes need a rest more than anything. But 10-15 minutes, I want to be back on it. Let's keep this guy warm, see how it shoots. Okay, so our eye relaxation break is over. It was 10 or 15 minutes. The barrel's still quite warm. You can't comfortably touch it for more than a second. But we're going to move on. CCI number 41 is next. That is not a typo. I just double checked in my chronograph to make sure I didn't write it down wrong. The 450 was 2588 feet per second and the 41 was 2708. 120 feet per second swing. I don't even know what to think about that right now. Well, let's just move on. Next is the CCI BR4. Boy, these groups aren't anything like I was hoping for. Pretty crappy, kinda, compared to what we saw previously. Okay, CCI number 400 is next. Winchester. Federal. Okay, last up is the S&B. All right, these numbers are going to be fun to look at on a chart. Let's get back to the bench. So as it turns out, these groups were a whole lot better than I thought they were out on the range. I think my internal group estimator gets screwed up because I switched so much between 22 and 30 caliber. And you know, my dots are spaced differently, especially like this one with 14 dots. They're all kind of scrunched together, but for some reason in my brain, the groups looked big, but measured them out, by God, they are pretty darn good. We only had one that was over an inch, and that was our first group with the, that was our 7th group with the S&B primers at 1.11 inches. Our best group was that 0.51 incher, followed by a 0.53 incher. So excellent accuracy. Here was CFE 223. CFE 223 was the better shooting of the two powders. Down here with 8208 XBR, we didn't have any that were over an inch, but we had quite a few 0.9s there, you know, that were very close to an inch. So arm's distance, yeah, it looks like CFE 223 shot a little bit better. So of course our velocity is absolutely fascinating here. With CFE 223, we started at 450 and worked our way this way, right? So our lowest number ended up being our first group at 2614, and then it slowly climbed, and our highest velocity was found down here on this end, completely opposite of the last video. So I think it's clear that barrel heat or some other factor there is increasing our velocity over these first 20 or so shots. I'll tell you what, here's a stupid video idea. I'd like to load up 100 rounds, all the same. Start out, shoot a 10-shot group, mag dump the next 80 groups. Just get the gun smoking hot, and then the last 10 shots, shoot another 10-shot group. So, you know, then you compare the two groups, see how much accuracy was lost with that massive heat up. And you could also look at the kind of the rolling 5-shot average of velocity during the mag dump and see whether, you know, as the gun heats up, does velocity creep up as well? By God, we might just make ourselves a video of that exact test, because I would like to know, because, you know, there was that velocity kind of ramped up here, but then once we got to, what was that, the 5th group, it seemed to settle down. 2685, 2684, 2672, that's not much difference. And then once we moved over to the next powder, this guy is crazy. Like this one is an outlier here, really. But down here, we kind of hit a stable spot. Once we got through the 450 and the 41, the BR4 onto the S&B, velocity was pretty stable. So I tell you what, this will be a lot easier to see on a chart. Why the hell am I talking about stuff that I should wait until we get a chart? Yeah, let's look at the CFE 223 chart from today here. So we've got CCI 450 on the right-hand side, right? That's our right-hand column. That was our first load. That was our cold gun. And then it worked its, and then, yeah. And then it just so slowly crept up until we hit max velocity. Which one was the highest velocity? Yeah, Winchester was 2685 and Federal was 2684. So they were both pretty much the same average velocity. Now, while we're here looking at the chart, you know, our standard deviation numbers are there. That's the number by the dots. CCI BR4 gave us the best number. Second best was the S&B primer. And then the Winchester and the 41, and it all kind of starts to fall off there and get into the 20s and get crappier. So if we move on to 8208 XBR, let's go ahead and just look at the chart. So as you can see there, the CCI 450, first one we shot all the way to the right, is way low velocity. And then the very next one, the CCI 41, is way high. Very weird behaviors from the 450 and the 41 here with our extruded powder. And then the rest of them just kind of fell in line there and had similar numbers, right? I mean, the Federal had a really nice standard deviation number of 8.0, and then all the others, it was just kind of all pretty close. So let's split it and let's look at all 4 charts. So we've got the ones from video 1 are on the bottom, right? Bottom left is H335. That was our spherical powder. Bottom right hand side is AR comp. So ball powder's on the left, extruded powder's on the right. This blew my mind the first time I looked at it. Like, I didn't pick this up until this view right here, but look at the similarities between the 2 extruded numbers. The 8208 XBR, the top right, and the AR comp on the bottom right. CCI 450, low velocity. CCI 41, really high velocity. You know, except for the 41 and the 450 being high and low respectively, the other 5 just kind of fell in line there and had similar numbers to one another. Now, if we go over to the left-hand side, look at those 2, CFE 223 versus H335. Both of these, I mean, they would have been shot with a cold barrel. So the bottom chart was shot left to right, the top chart was shot right to left. So that might lend to the somewhat fuzzy, crappy nature of these charts, but it might just be, you know, the ball powders, they just don't get the good standard deviation numbers like the extruded powders. You know, this is just what you get. I don't know, man. So here's what I've done. Here's what I've done. Because we've got all this info and it makes no sense. And you look at one chart and you think one thing, and you look at another chart and you think another thing. I decided to go series by series and rank each primer on a couple different categories. The main 2 things are group size and the other is standard deviation. That's really what it boils down to. So what I did was I went through each. So there's CFE 223, for example. The best group was a 0.51 inch group. That would get a value of 1. Next up is our 0.53 inch group. That would get a value of 2. So I just ranked everything best to worst, 1 through 7. Group size, and then I also did the same with standard deviation. So here, BR4 would have got a 1, S&B would have got a 2. So basically just ranked them best to worst. And I did that over all 4 series. Video 1 and video 2. And here is what I came up. Well, let's just start with it. Let's start with overall rank. Who performed the best in these 2 videos? Number 1 is Federal. If we look at its 4 groups, like here was the first video, both of its groups were under an inch. Standard deviation was kind of middle of the pack on both of them, but certainly not bad. So all the numbers were pretty decent. Today's video, we had a 0.67 inch group and a 0.82 inch group. So our 4 groups, Federal hasn't shot an inch group yet. All of them have been under an inch. It had the best standard deviation with 8208 XBR. Kind of had a crappier one here with CFE 223. But these groups, you know, the group sizes I think are really what put it at the top of our overall rank list. Second place was the Winchester. It was also just an overall pretty good performer. It didn't have any really terrible targets except maybe, you know, it had this 1.98 inch group here, just a big group, and a crappy standard deviation number here with AR comp, but it made up for it with some stellar numbers otherwise. A 0.58 inch group, a 0.51 inch group, and a 0.85 inch group. So Federal and Winchester were pretty darn good. And the only other one that really kind of came close, the top 3 kind of separated themselves from the other 4. And so number 3 would be the CCI 400. It truly did it excelled at nothing, but stunk at nothing as well. So it was just kind of, middle of the pack. But it didn't really have a really bad one. So the rest of the list, surprises. BR4 just continues to disappoint. It's been disappointing everywhere I've ever tried that stupid primer. And I've got like 3,000 of them to get rid of. Same thing with the 450. It was last place in this test by our criteria. It gave weird low velocity readings with extruded powders. It still gave low velocity readings with our spherical powders. So I don't know what situation demands that primer, but we're not anywhere close to it, it doesn't seem. The CCI 41 though, as we went along, I thought it was doing okay. But it just kind of had, like this here, it had a super crappy 2.9 inch group with a crazy flyer, and none of its standard deviation numbers were impressive. It shot some decent groups today. You know, it shot our second best group at 0.53 inches. But it just kind of was pretty mediocre. You know, it was beaten by... Our S&B did come in 5th place. So, you know, not a huge surprise, but it beat a couple of primers that cost a whole lot more money. So using this same criteria, I looked at 5 different categories. You know, we've already looked at the overall, but the overall best groups, the overall best standard deviation, the best for extruded powders, and the best for ball powders. You can see Federal is number 1 on everything except the best ball powder. That one goes to Winchester. Some of these weren't even close. Like, you know, Winchester is the best ball powder. It had way less points than anything else. So by my goofy scoring system, I mean, there was, in each category, did seem to end up being one that was a good bit better than the others. Like, best extruded powder, it was the Federal primer and not even close. Best ball powder was the Winchester, and it wasn't even close. So what do we do with all these crazy conclusions we've come to? I wouldn't even call them conclusions. I mean, I think we're freely admitting that there are a lot of factors in play that are affecting things more than primers that I don't think we've characterized properly, like the barrel heat or barrel fouling. So it's possible that, you know, this was totally useless. But all of the primers did okay. I mean, absolutely all of them did okay. Even the 450, which we've been constantly crapping on. You know, it's groups from today, 0.71 and 0.63. You can't beat that. That's not bad. It had a rough day in the last video, but we all have rough days. So I want to move on to some other things, but I want to come back around to this and try some more things. Definitely. We need to get some Remington 7.5 primers. And if you guys have suggestions for more ways we can test, just let me know. I'll tell you what, so these Federal primers, I've still got probably 500 or 600 of these guys left, but my opinion has totally changed about these guys in the course of these 2 videos. The testing we've done in 300 blackout with these guys has just been poor. They lagged behind in velocity pretty seriously, but yeah, I'm gonna have to pull them out more often. Maybe we'll start, maybe the next couple of videos we'll use the Federals, see how that works out for us. But pretty happy with both the Federals and the Winchesters. I guess I've just been buying the wrong brand. So I think that covers what I wanted to say. I've got this brass from the 2 videos. I could show them to you. There's nothing to see. Like, there were no pressure signs. We didn't really shoot super hot loads anyway, but there's nothing to see here. I won't waste your time. Brass looked perfectly fine. I'm not quite sure what's next. I'm getting close. You know, we're doing this video every day thing. I've run out of material. I'm finishing up this video, and it's going to be posted in about 9 hours. So I'm cutting it really close. And I have no ammo loaded. So tomorrow I've got to load the ammo, shoot the ammo, make the video, upload the video, and everything. So getting a little hectic around here. I'm not even sure what we're going to do next. But I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If you want to support the channel, check me out at patreon.com/reloading. So that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern.